Now that I'm 22 years old, happy late birthday to me by the way, I'm able to look back at my teenage years and realize I fucked up. Everything's always obvious in hindsight, but looking back, honestly, there's so many things I could have done differently. But since I can't go back in time, the least I could do is live vicariously through you, my teenage fans. My whole goal for this video is for you to become what I wasn't able to until I reached my early 20s. So without further ado, this is what I would have done differently as a teenager. Now the first thing I should have done was taken more risks at a younger age. Now the truth is, in any endeavor in life, it's gonna take you at least 5 years to see any significant results. Think of Iman Gadzhi and Sneeko. Iman Gadzhi is one of my favorite entrepreneurs, and he became a multi-millionaire at 23 years old. But he started his first business when he was around 14. And same thing with Sneeko. He became a multi-millionaire at around 24, and he started his first YouTube channel when he was 14. The seeds you plant today will have a huge impact on the life you live in the future. If I had been consistent in my entrepreneurial endeavors when I was a teenager, I would be living a much different life right now. Another thing is, I should have taken the risk to become more outgoing, more outspoken, and confident. I should have made the effort to meet new people, date new girls, strike up a random conversation with a stranger, talk to random people in my classes. My biggest downfall in middle school and high school was, well, I was kind of a dick sometimes. I wasn't always the friendliest. In my classes, I would only really talk to about 1 or 2 people next to me. Once I had my close friends, I kind of just closed off from everybody else. I really didn't care. Now we have this whole Sigma male movement. A lot of middle schoolers are idolizing people like Patrick Bateman, Homelander, Tommy Shelby, and honestly, I look up to these people too, but there's a time and place to be a Sigma, but it's also incredibly important to learn how to be friendly and be nice to people. Another thing I wish I did when I was a teenager was hear the word no more often. With great return comes great risk. If there were no risk, everybody would be doing it. If you want to start a business, if you want to date, you're gonna have to inevitably hear the dreaded word no. The crazy part is, and I didn't even realize this until way later, but even the best entrepreneurs and players only get 5 to 10% of yeses. I know it sounds disheartening, but if there's one thing to take from this video, it's that you only need to be right once, and you only need to hear the word yes once. But with that being said, it never really gets easier to hear the word no. Sure, maybe in the beginning, but after that point, it's always gonna sting a bit. I always like to connect movies with real life. If you've never seen the X-Men movies, there's a character named Wolverine that can basically take unlimited damage and still heal every time. There's a scene I really like in one of the movies where he says that even though he can heal, he feels just as much pain every time.
Why is he thrashing like that? Why isn't he sedated?
He feels pain just like the rest of us, but anesthesia won't work on it.
And in that same spirit, even though rejection makes us stronger and is even good for us a lot of times, it's still gonna hurt. The next thing I wish I did more when I was a teenager, and it kinda connects to my first point, is just stop overanalyzing and just do it. If you're watching this video, you're probably a little bit like me, so I'm sure you can relate to this a bit. But the problem a lot of smart people like us deal with is overanalyzing every situation. And when you think too much about a situation, you end up doing nothing. And that's why life is hard. You need to be smart enough to be capable, but dumb enough to just go for it and not worry about the risk. The best of us are a balance of both of these traits. One little trick I use to stop overanalyzing and just going for it is having small goals for myself. So for example, if I'm at a park or a mall, pretend you're new to the area and ask for directions to a store, or ask what the time is. Just small little things that can help you get out of your comfort zone that won't be a big deal. Another thing I wish I did when I was a teenager was just take money more seriously. I wish I worked, saved, and invested a lot more. My very first job was at a pizzeria, making about $10 an hour. And I remember very vividly spending my entire first check on shoes. Like I said before, I didn't start thinking seriously about money until I turned about 19. The truth is, if you're under 18, and in some cases under 22 if you're going to college, this is the only time in your life where you have little to no responsibilities. Take advantage of this time because the window is small. Think about where you'll be if you're 16 and you get your first job, you save almost all of your money and you invest a huge portion of it into stocks, crypto, real estate, whatever it might be. By the time you're my age, you were almost certain to be worth more than 6 figures. The last thing I wish I told myself when I was younger, and the last piece of advice that I have for all the teens watching this video, is be selfish. When I was younger, I would make a lot of decisions for other people. As a middle schooler, I wanted to stay in the shittier school in my neighborhood because all of my friends were there at the time. But my mom wanted to send me to the better school because it had more opportunities and it had better education. I hated that decision, but looking back on it, it was a great one. I hate that we live in a society where we have to put our own self-interests over others. But to be honest, it's the only way to win. And as you get older, to all the teenagers watching this, you start to realize that others are doing the same exact thing. This is gonna sound cold, but it's the harsh truth that I've seen time and time again. And I mean this in the most positive way possible. Women, people, they come and go. But the one thing that persists is you and what you've built. That's why I keep making these YouTube videos and why I don't plan on giving up. The one thing that truly gives me fulfillment is this. It's really helpful to learn from the mistakes of others, but if I really want to help teenagers, I think it's important that I show you what I did right as a teen. I'd say the 2 best things that I did in middle school and high school were traveling and martial arts. In the summer of high school, I took the initiative to apply to a study abroad program in Berlin and the scholarships to be able to afford it. At the end of the day, I was able to go to Europe for the first time at little to no cost. The truth is, these opportunities are out there. You just gotta put yourself out there and find them. But in general, I think traveling is the best thing you can do as a young person. You need to get out of your environment and learn about different cultures around the world. I don't think you can grow as a person without learning how other people live. Now, the first time I got out of my comfort zone was when I joined the karate dojo down the street from my apartment back when I was a middle schooler. This was the first time I felt real physical pain. The first time I was absolutely horrible at something. But it was also the first time I came back the next day and the next day, and I kept on doing that for about 8 years. There's a ton of lessons you'll learn doing martial arts, and even guys like Joe Rogan and Andrew Tate will tell you the same. Also, it doesn't hurt to know how to defend yourself. So as we wrap up, there's one thing I want you to remember out of this video. Do more and experience more. Try to remember that experience is your friend. The reason why women like older guys, which is something you'll experience as you get older, is because they're more experienced. And as you've gone through more, you become more confident and more capable. To the teenagers and young guys watching this video, these are the most pivotal years of your life. Everything you do right now will have a tremendous influence on your future. But I believe in you. So with that being said, if you found some value out of this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace out.